From the combined crew of blindandroidusers.com and accessibleandroid.com, it's time for your favorite Android podcast. Kick back now and enjoy another fine episode from these fanboys and gals as they navigate Android from a blindness perspective. And now, here's your crew. Hello, and welcome to episode 154 of the Blind Android Users Podcast. We're recording today on November the 18th, 2023. I'm Warren Carr.
I'm Austin Pinto from Mumbai.
Doug Cameron from Alberta.
Fee Dunn from London.
John Dyer from Virginia.
Joshua from Saskatchewan.
Karine from Lebanon.
And it's Sally from Turkey.
Welcome to episode 154, guys. Thanks for joining us this week. Coming up, this is what we've got for you. First, though, we talk about Android QPR Beta 2.1. Then we have the Android basics. Then we have a guest in our Spotlight segment. We talk to Dipti Prasad. Up next, then, we have the Radio G app, which is the app of the week. Then we have the tip of the week. And we would be closing with my favorite segment of the episode. That's the Android journey. And our friend Joshua, whom you just heard a little while ago, will bring us our Android journey story today. Welcome to episode 154. Let's talk a little bit about well-being, guys. Austin, what's going up with you?
So all the festivities in India are over. The Diwali festival is over, but India is also in the World Cup final, and tomorrow we are playing Australia. When this episode is being published, the final should be on. So if tomorrow India wins the World Cup, then it's going to be another Diwali with all rallies and beautiful scenes tomorrow after the final. I hope we win though, because if we lose, it's going to be very sad because we won 10 on 10 matches and then finally we lost. So, and Warren had a birthday this week. So Warren, how was your birthday? And you had some nice fun in the whatever you went to, some gift you got. How was your birthday?
Well, thanks, Austin. Birthday was wonderful. So here's what happened. And this was my 57th birthday. And so my wife, Julia, took me out. And she's going to surprise me. So I was looking forward to her taking me to some place to eat that I've never been to. And we walked into this place and I was a little confused because instead of smelling food, I think I was kind of greeted by some wafting smells of soaps or whatever, different smells, different things. And, the ladies greeted her and hello, Julia, and all of that. And you know what? It was a pedicure place Julia took me into, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And so the ladies are like, oh, yeah, no, he's fine. We got the guys here coming all the time. And I sat down there and I was so embarrassed. But then, it was a good thing I got my feet in hot water there. I sat in this chair, has a nice, massaging thing on the back, and then my feet in the water, and the lady was just basically cleaning my feet. And guys, when I was young, I ran around barefoot a lot. And so I have like calluses on my feet, and she got all of that stuff out. So yeah, that's my experience about what went on there at that pedicure place.
And Warren was like messaging us on the podcast group on Telegram that I'm going to do a pedicure, and I was like, wow, nice, it's good for you to do it because I've never done it. So it's good, it must be good fun there.
It was, even though I was so embarrassed, and I was saying, I hope none of my friends walked in here and, saw me sitting in a chair. But it was good, and the lady
So
was
we
nice.
virtually walked in. They're also invited by you.
The lady was nice, and she was teaching me a little bit of is it Chinese or was it Vietnamese? I don't remember which one it was. Kind of very interesting. Yeah. Cam, what's going on with you?
Not a lot. I actually just gotta, start getting prepped for god awful winter. So doing a little bit of small engine repair this weekend. Give my tools a bit of a tune-up so I'm ready to use them in the snow. It's been, the shortest, longest week of my life, it seems. Work, we only had 3 days worth of students, but yet it felt like it went forever.
I understand. Sometimes it feels that way.
Oh, so much.
Yeah. Talking about snow, it's snowing on our passes here the whole damn weekend long. John, what's going on in Virginia land?
Not too much. It's been a pretty typical week. It was a good week. I think I'm a little under the weather, but other than that, can't really complain.
Get better, man. I was feeling a little bit under the weather yesterday too. The pretty one from London, what's going on?
I've been out a lot this week. My parents came. My dad came over on Tuesday, and I met him near the Science Museum, and we went round some exhibitions there. And then my mum came on Wednesday, and we did some shopping together. So that's been nice. Now I've got 2 church services to prepare for because I'm a trainee preacher. One is next Sunday, and the other one is the Sunday after. So I've got plenty of work to do. It's been grey weather, some rain, not much sunshine at the moment, unfortunately. But started talking with the family about who's doing what over Christmas already. Oh, but yeah, that's me really.
The handsome guy somewhere there who tries to be like me, get better looking every day. I'm talking about that boy from Samsung City. Sally, how are ya?
Well, as always, I'm being more handsome every day. I've been away for the last episode. I hope people missing me. Well, the good thing is that
We sure miss you, though. I don't know about the people
yeah,
missing you.
yeah. So without me, the handsome rate is going down.
I agree.
So I got myself the new device, the S23. I'm super happy of this new phone. I'm amazed by S23, and being in Samsung, and I'm using the Samsung phone. What else I can do?
It just gets you a little bit more confused. That's all.
Yeah,
You don't know when you're using the phone or when you're using the city, right?
of course.
Lebanese Belle, the pretty one, also from Lebanon. Karine, what's going on, girl?
Everything is well here. Well, we are expecting a rainy week, and this is something good. So let's hope that we will have a lot of rain this week and a lot of excitement as well.
Wonderful. Joshua, we're going to be hearing from you, but what's going on in Regina, Canada?
It's not much. Just seems like a nice sunny day today. I haven't really been outside all that much today, but yesterday there was some snow in the morning, and then it dried up in the afternoon, most of it, and
It was gone, huh?
yes, there's
Yeah,
probably more here now.
I know how it is. This time, kind of goes early. But anyway, looking forward to skiing. Anyway, it's something we'll talk about in your Android journey later on. Maybe you have an app to go skiing with.
You're listening to the Blind Android Users podcast.
So moving on to the next segment is the news and event coverage. And this week has been a very surprising thing in the week that Google pushed out a QPR 2.1 for Android 14, and I updated recently, like today afternoon. And the one thing that scared me was my updated and my phone rebooted, and I saw this small setup screen. So it told me your pixel is up to date. I pressed next, and it gave me the screen where I had to accept the data sharing with Google, what you want to send, those diagnostic data. And I was like, why did Google wipe my phone? So I thought it wiped my phone, but it actually just gave me that setup. So I don't know why it even did that. Warren, did you see this and what were your observations about QPR, the new QPR released?
That's really interesting. I didn't see such a thing on mine. However, I do want to mention here, though, that Google did something. If you guys remember how it used to be, for example, when you update, whether it's a security patch or an OS update, it takes forever, the optimization of the apps and all of that. So Google fixed that. Usually this will take like an hour or more, depending. And I was so surprised, I almost fell out of my chair. Mine was done like in 7 minutes. I started at like 1:48 or something like that. And by 1:55, it was done. And I couldn't believe it. I thought there was a mistake somewhere. But no, there was no mistake. And I also was reading on the subreddit, Google subreddit, people were having the same experience. So Google has heard our cry about this long update process, whether it's a 2 MB or whatever, it will still take you that long. And I'm so surprised that this was so quick and all of that. So I really like it. But the other thing that really confuses me, you know how it is that Google first released the QPR before releasing Android 14 stable this year. And so we were still in the process of the QPR 1. And now here we are with QPR 2 beta 1, which is Google kind of just leapfrog the the QPR1 and started this, which is supposed to have come in January. So this year, it seems like something is up with Google. Nothing is being kept up straight, but I'm not complaining. There are a lot of fixes on there. We'll post a little link to it that people can read up on as to the things that got fixed or things to be expecting when it drops as a feature drop in March. Because remember, this will be dropping in March. If you are not part of the program, then you'll be seeing that in March. The first QPR feature drop will be in December.
So Warren, now you know what it's like to be a Samsung user. You get your updates like you should.
Yeah, John, no, I understand that. But then, here's the Samsung part, though. The Samsung part, yeah, the download process is good. But then when it comes back, it takes forever to get back on. So Google has won it in both ways because the download process is El Quico, and then coming back is not like long as the one that Samsung has. You know what I mean? So if Samsung has
I
been
don't know.
waiting for this, yeah, if Samsung was
I don't
waiting
think
for
I've
this,
had a
they should.
Samsung update take 7 minutes ever. Like it's usually 7 minutes or less, like include download, install, restart, everything.
Yeah, well, I noticed my Samsung, for example, is not as quick as, when the phone restarts to come back on. The Samsung one takes longer than the Pixel one
Yeah,
does.
that's true. It
Yeah,
does. It does
yeah,
take longer to reboot after.
yeah. That's what I'm talking about. So if this is what has been holding Samsung back, where we give Samsung a little bit of a bad time about it, maybe now they can do the AB partition, dual boot or whatever thing that they've been holding back on. And of course, Samsung's the big boy. They can choose to do whatever they want. No one can do anything about it. But I'm glad to see that we now have what Samsung has, quick optimization, download process optimization. And with Google, once that's done, coming back up is just quicker. So I like that. I was so surprised.
So last month, in the last month's update, they removed that screen which we had demoed sometime back, where there were things like pixel updates, app updates, and all those things. They brought this thing back now. So what you need to do is once you update your phone's QPR, you need to click on Google Play's service updates, and you will get a new update that way. So whenever you update a QPR or whenever you install any security update, if you don't have a latest Pixel or if you have some other brand's phone, you need to go to settings, security, and then you need to go and click on Google Play services and update that, because even that gets updates.
This is Android Basics, in which we bring you up to date on the things that you should know to use your Android phone.
And now we continue our Android Basics series on the Samsung One UI, and this is the 10th in that series. And today, John is taking us through the display settings.
Hello. Today we're going to be continuing our way through Samsung's One UI settings. And what we're going to be covering today is the display settings. I'm going to be using my S23 Ultra, and I'm running One UI 6.0, which is Samsung's version of Android 14. And I just wanted to point out before I get started that these are very device-specific settings, so you may not have all of these settings in the display settings on your phone, depending on what it supports. I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Open display settings.
Here
Display.
it is.
Navigate up button.
All right, so at the very top, we have whether it's in light mode or dark mode.
Light, not selected, radio button.
Light is on the left,
Dark, selected, radio button.
dark is on the right. I have mine set to dark, and under that
Dark mode settings.
are the settings for dark mode, so I'm going to open this up.
Dark mode settings. Navigate up button. To schedule dark mode to turn on between sunset and sunrise, location needs to be turned on.
And what that's telling us is that if you're the type to keep location turned off, then that might mess up how the automatic dark mode works. I don't have mine on, but here's where you would turn it on.
Turn on is scheduled. To prevent interruptions, dark mode will wait until the screen is off before it turns on. Off switch.
So that basically means while you're using your phone, it won't switch it from light mode to dark mode or vice versa. It'll wait till your screen's off. But I'm going to turn this on.
Dark mode settings. Navigate up button. Dark mode will be automatically turned on at scheduled start time.
And now this is turned on. Here are the options we have.
Selected, radio button, sunset to sunrise. Not selected, radio button, custom schedule.
So you can have it be light mode during the day and dark mode at night, or you can customize it to whatever you want. So I'm going to back out of these settings.
Display, dark mode settings.
Next we have,
Brightness,
this is self-explanatory. There's going to be a slider.
100%, brightness, slider.
Of course, I have mine set to 100% pretty much all the time because I do have a little bit of vision. Obviously, if you're completely blind, you're probably going to want to turn this all the way down. Next we have,
Adaptive brightness, off, switch.
this is whether or not you want it to automatically adjust your brightness depending on your surroundings and how light it is in the room you're currently in, or whether you're outside or inside.
Extra brightness, increase the maximum brightness. This uses more battery. On, switch.
So I have this turned on, and it does make the screen brighter. What I'm guessing this is, I'm not 100% sure, but I think maybe it might just let your screen run at full brightness even when it's not in sunlight, because these phones typically do get brighter when they are in the sun. So that's my guess what that does. Next we have,
Motion smoothness, standard.
this is the refresh rate. I'm going to open it up.
Motion smoothness. Navigate up button.
Here are the two options we have.
Not selected, radio button, adaptive, get smoother animations and scrolling by automatically adjusting your screen refresh rate up to 120 Hz. Selected, radio button, standard, get longer battery life by automatically adjusting your screen refresh rate up to 60 Hz.
So basically 60 Hz or 20 Hz. I always turn mine down to 60 because I can't tell a difference, and that saves battery. Some people will tell you that having a higher refresh rate makes your phone more responsive, but that's not the case. The refresh rate is a 100% visual thing. It doesn't affect the touch sampling rate of your screen. So if anything, your phone will be more responsive when it's set to 60 Hz because it's actually only doing half as much. I'm going to back out of here.
Display. Motion smoothness, standard.
Next we have,
Eye comfort shield.
now this is a blue light filter.
Eye comfort shield. Navigate up, button. Keep your eyes comfortable by limiting blue light and using warmer colors. Using at night can make it easier to fall asleep.
So that's the definition of it. I have this turned off. I don't think it affects me at all personally.
Display. Eye comfort shield.
Next we have
Off. Eye comfort shield, switch. Screen mode, vivid.
screen mode. I'm going to open this.
Screen mode. Navigate up, button.
You have two options,
Checked, vivid. Natural.
vivid or natural, and this is, I guess, how punchy the colors are on your display. After this, you have
White balance.
the option to adjust white balance.
50%, white balance, slider. Advanced settings, button.
And then, I won't go in here, but the advanced settings, if you want to adjust the RGB levels independent from each other, you can go in here and do that. So I'm going to back out of here.
Display. Screen mode, vivid.
Next we have
Font size and style.
font size and style.
Font size and style. Navigate up, button. Font style, default.
You can choose the font here.
Bold font, off, switch.
You can choose whether it's bold or not,
Font size.
and then you can adjust the size.
Decrease font size, button.
There's a decrease button, a slider,
29%, font size, slider.
and an increase button.
Increase font size, button.
So you can use the buttons or adjust the slider. I'm going to back out.
Display. Font size and style.
Next we have
Screen zoom.
screen zoom. And this is actually important.
Screen zoom. Navigate up, button.
What it lets you adjust is
Use the slider below to make items on your screen smaller or larger. To change the size of text, go to Font size and style.
so this does not change the size of text, but it changes the overall size of items. So, for example, you can increase this and less will fit on your screen, so you'll have to do more scrolling, but the items will be larger and easier to find when exploring by touch. So if you like to explore by touch and you have a hard time finding small buttons on the screen, then definitely you're going to want to increase this. And, find what that balance is for you of what size you need items to be to make things work best for you. I keep mine pretty low because I don't like to have to scroll any more than I have to. I'm going to back out of here.
Display. Screen zoom.
Next we have
Screen resolution, HD plus 1544x 720.
resolution.
Screen resolution. Navigate up, button.
So I have mine set to
HD plus 1544x 720, selected, radio button.
the lowest resolution possible because I can't tell a difference and it's better for battery. I have two other options here.
FHD plus 2316x 1080, not selected, radio button. QHD plus 3088x 1440, not selected, radio button.
So again, this is the amount of pixels that your screen displays and has to refresh. So if this does not affect, if you don't have enough vision to tell a difference between this, I recommend just turning it all the way down. Save yourself some battery. I'm going to back out.
Display. Screen resolution, HD plus 1544x 720.
And next we have,
Full screen apps.
now I won't go in here, but this is going to be a list of all the apps you have installed that want to use the full screen mode, which I think means it's going to hide your navigation buttons if you have navigation buttons. So you can go in here and toggle the switch for each app, whether you want to allow that to happen or not. Next we have
Camera cutout.
camera cutout. This is a similar thing. You can adjust this for each app. And what this will do is, if you don't want to see the punch hole in your screen, you can just have it set to basically put a black bar at the top of your phone so that you can't see that hole punch. It basically just adds a bezel to the top of your phone. And you can adjust it app by app.
Screen timeout, 5 minutes.
That's self-explanatory. You know, it's how long your screen will stay on if you leave it on, assuming you're not playing some sort of video.
Easy mode.
Easy mode. I've not used this, but let's see what the description is.
Easy mode. Navigate up, button. Easy mode sets the screen zoom to large and the font size to medium so your home screen items and text will appear larger. It also changes to a longer touch and hold delay to prevent accidental actions and switches to a high contrast keyboard for better readability.
So basically sounds like this is old person mode. Back out.
Display. Easy mode.
Let's see what's next.
Edge panels.
Edge panels. Okay, there's a little bit. There's actually a lot in here. I'm going to open it up. I don't use them, but we'll look at
Edge
it.
panels. Navigate up, button.
I'll turn them on.
Edge panels, off, switch. On.
Okay, so now that it's on, let's see what we have here.
Panels, apps.
Panels. Apparently there's only one panel set up, the apps panel. I'm going to open this.
Panels. Navigate up, button. Checked, apps, checkbox.
So I have apps enabled.
Apps edit, button.
And you can edit that. I'm assuming what apps are on that panel.
Not checked, live messages, checkbox.
That's another possible panel.
Not checked, people, checkbox. Not checked, smart select, checkbox. Not checked, tasks, checkbox. Not checked, weather, checkbox. Not checked, tools, checkbox. Not checked, music, checkbox. Not checked, reminder, checkbox. Not checked, clipboard, checkbox. Not checked, voice changer, checkbox.
So as you can see, those were all the different panels that you can have enabled on here. There's actually a lot you could do with it, but I just don't use it. I'm going to back out.
Edge panels. Panels, apps.
And under panels, we have
Handle.
where we can adjust the handle settings.
Handle. Navigate up, button. Lock handle position, off, switch.
Whether or not you want it locked.
Style, heading. Not selected red.
This is basically
Not selected orange.
what color you want it to be.
Transparency, heading.
Next, we have the transparency slider.
70% transparency, slider. Size, heading.
Then you can adjust the size.
43% size, slider. Width, heading. 0% width, slider. Vibration, heading.
And then whether or not you want it to vibrate.
Vibrate when handle is touched, on, switch.
And that's all the settings for the handle. I'm going to back out.
Edge panels, handle.
Okay, I'm going to turn this back off.
Edge panels, on, switch.
And then back out of here.
Off. Display, edge panels.
Next we have
Off, edge panels, switch. Navigation bar, manage the home, back, and recents buttons are use gestures for more screen space.
Let's go in here.
Navigation bar, navigate up, button.
So I have mine set to use gestures.
Not selected, radio button, buttons.
So as you can see, buttons is not selected.
Selected. Radio button. Swipe gestures. Swipe up with 2 fingers from each area of the bottom of your phone to go back, go to the home screen, or view recent apps. You can also swipe up and hold with 2 fingers to use your device assistance app.
Now, if that sounds weird, it's because that's not the default.
More options, button.
I'll go into more options to show you the difference.
Swipe gestures. Navigate up, button.
Now, these are the 2 types of gestures you can have on your Samsung phone. This is the default.
Not selected. Radio button. Swipe from sides and bottom. Swipe up with 2 fingers from the bottom of the screen to go to the home screen. If you swipe up and hold with 2 fingers, you can view your recent apps. To go back, swipe inward with 2 fingers from either side of the screen. To open your device assistance app, swipe inward with 2 fingers from one of the bottom corners. Swipe up from the bottom of the screen with 2 fingers to go to the home screen.
And then there's an alternative method, which is what I have enabled, which is this.
Selected. Radio button. Swipe from bottom. Swipe up with 2 fingers from each area of the bottom of your phone to go back, go to the home screen, or view recent apps. You can also swipe up and hold with 2 fingers to use your device assistance app.
So basically, you would just swipe up from the bottom of the screen wherever the button you want to press would be. So swipe up from the center for home, swipe up from the left for back, if that's how you have the back button set, and swipe up from the right side of the bottom of the screen to do recents. The reason I do this is because of the swipe up and hold from the center for the assistant, because that's much easier for me to do with 2 fingers than trying to swipe up from the corner. And then after these settings, we have
33% gesture sensitivity slider.
the gesture sensitivity, which you can adjust. So I'm going to back out of this section.
Navigation bar. More options, button.
After more options, we have
Gesture hints, show where to swipe up for navigation gestures. You can also swipe left or right across the hints to switch between apps. Off, switch.
So I have this turned off because I can't see it anyway.
Switch apps when hints hidden. On, switch.
This allows you to still swipe between apps even when that's not showing. So if you don't know, if you put 2 fingers at the very bottom of your phone where the buttons would be, and you swipe them to the right, that will go to the last app you were in. And then if you swipe them back to the left, that will put you in the app you just were in. So it's just a quicker way to switch apps rather than bringing up the recent screen. Next we have
Show button to hide keyboard. The button is only available in portrait mode. On, switch. Block gestures with S Pen. Prevent the S Pen from being used for navigation gestures. This helps when drawing or writing near the edges of the screen. Off, switch. Button order, header, heading.
and then you can adjust the button order.
Not selected. Radio button. Recents. Home. Back.
This is how Samsung has had it by default in the past. I don't know why, but they let you change it.
Selected. Radio button. Back. Home. Recents.
And that's how I have mine set. So I'm going to back out of these settings.
Display. Navigation bar. Manage the home, back, and recents buttons are use gestures for more screen space.
After this, we have
Accidental touch protection. Protect your phone from accidental touches when it's in a dark place, such as a pocket or bag. Off, switch.
That's pretty self-explanatory. I've actually turned this off just because sometimes when my phone is in my pocket, TalkBack starts talking about how it's protecting me with accidental touch protection. And I don't want to hear that. If my phone's in my pocket, I want it to be quiet. So that's why I have this turned off.
Touch sensitivity. Increase the touch sensitivity of the screen for use with screen protectors. On, switch.
That's self-explanatory as well. I don't know why I have this on. I don't use a screen protector. I'm going to turn it off.
Off.
Next.
Show charging information. Show battery level and estimated time until full when always on display is off or not shown. Off, switch.
So, whether you want your phone to show its percentage while it's plugged in.
Screen saver.
And then last we have screensaver. I'm going to go see what the options are.
Screensaver. Navigate up, button. Selected, radio button, none.
I have none selected.
Not selected, radio button, colors. Not selected, radio button, photo table. Settings, button for photo table, disabled. Not selected, radio button, photo frame. Settings, button for photo frame, disabled. Not selected, radio button, photos.
So these are the options they let you have for screensavers. So basically it's like when your phone is charging and you're not using it, do you want something to be on the screen or not? So that's why I have this set to none. And that was the last setting in the display settings. So I'm going to kick this back to the crew for further discussion. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, John. We appreciate that. And let's talk a little bit about this area, guys. I think probably one of my favorite things in this part of the display is that one has a lot of choices in here. You know, if you're a Samsung guy, you got the easy mode, which is, I don't suggest that for those of us who are blind, but you have things like the eye shield comfort. You have all kinds of stuff in here. So this is where you can even go to do things like whether you like the native gestures and things like that. I really like what Samsung has in here. They have a lot of things here in the display. What are some of the things that you guys like on here that you would like to comment on the things that John showed us?
Well, I don't use it very often, but when I first get my phone, I always use it to make it longer before the screen locks. Because I think
that
when you
can be
first
very annoying, isn't it? Like
when you
seconds.
first get your phone, it's like 30 seconds. What? I was only putting this down to have a drink or something. What? Just stop it. So that's usually what I go in there for, and that's about it, actually. Although I did learn something when John was going through that. The thing about it showing you how much longer it would take to charge the battery and the battery information. And I thought, I wonder if I've got that switched on. I don't think I have. Maybe I'll switch it on. So thanks for that, John. That's very useful.
Yeah, I tell you, I used to hate when I started first on Android. And, I'm trying to type in something, or I just put it down, like you said, trying to do something for like a few seconds, and the screen has shut off. And so I finally wised up. I put mine at 5 minutes, even though I'm advanced in using Android, but I still have it like 5 minutes. Earlier on, when I started, I had it on 10 minutes.
I don't know. Can you do 10 minutes? Can you do 10 minutes?
Can have 10 minutes. Yeah. I think there's even a 30 minutes. I don't remember. Maybe 10 is the max. Don't remember.
I think 10 is the max because I have mine on the max, and 10 is the max at least on my phone.
Exactly.
But I have it on 5 minutes normally.
Same here. So I have a question for all of you. I guess just about all of us are Samsung users here. Who uses, if anybody, edge panels? I always turn those off, but you can really do a lot with them. So I'm wondering if anybody actually uses them.
I don't use the edge panels. I'm turning them off.
They can be very useful, though, if you learn to use them. I played with them just for giggles, and I like the fact that I could add things that I want there, but then I turn it off. But I can see its usefulness. And talking about edge panels, John, another thing that I like is, you want to turn on that edge protection thing there in the event that, maybe if you put it in your pocket or put it in your purse, and then, it comes on, for example, you want to turn that on so it prevents accidental turning on of your device.
I turn it off.
Yeah.
I'd rather something accidentally happen than it just talk while it's in my pocket, because it's not going to unlock. It won't think my leg is my fingerprint. So whatever you want while you're in my pocket, just shut up. I don't want you to be announcing yourself I'm doing something important.
And I have the accidental touch turned on, but honestly, it is absolutely annoying, especially when you have a phone now with 2 screens. Because if it's in your pocket, you have your have it set up where you can double tap your screen to turn on, your leg can actually be turning on your screen. I've had this happen so many times. And it's like it's both a blessing and a curse to have the accidental touch, because then you're not doing something that you don't want to be doing. But then if you aren't conscious of what direction you're putting your phone in your pocket, you're turning your screen on all the time accidentally. So it's I love it, but I hate it.
Yeah, so mine is I don't have mine going on.
I don't have the screen or that accidental touch protection on, but I do use the edge panels. I have mine set up where if I open the edge panels, it opens that compass one.
Yeah, there you go. You got some usefulness out of it.
Yeah. And I just turned off the apps one. The compass one is the only one that I got, because switching between them is a bit tricky.
This is the Spotlight segment. Stay tuned for premium interviews, device unboxing, and more.
We now move on to the Spotlight segment, and we're talking with our friend Dipti Prasad from India with Nobaflix. This is a platform intended for people with blindness or lower vision to access movie content and things like that in a better way. And so we're delighted to have you on here, Dipti, talking about Nobaflix. And would you tell us about yourself and then tell us about Nobaflix?
Thank you so much for having me over, guys. So, my name is, like you mentioned, Dipti Prasad. I am from India. And I grew up in Dubai. My schooling, my education was done in Dubai. My parents are back there. But I moved to India in 2009. And that's when I started to firstly explore the country, because it was a very new setup, a new culture. Uh, it was very different from the environment where I grew up. And I came across one gap in the society, which was movies. Movie industry in India is a huge industry. We have Bollywood it's also called Bollywood, just like how you have the Hollywood movies. So there is a major culture of moviegoers. Among them, I noticed one gap, which was our movies are dubbed in multiple languages, because India is home to 26 languages. People residing in India speak 26 languages, but not all movies are dubbed in all languages. And even the Hollywood movies that come to India, they are dubbed in Hindi and Tamil, Telugu, the regional languages. But not all these languages are available in every single screening, every single theater. And these language speaking people are all over the globe. So that is what I noticed back in 2012, because I had a personal experience with my father, wherein I forced him to go for a movie which was the language he was not comfortable in. And ultimately, I disturbed a lot of people sitting around me. Both of us kept talking to each other because I was translating the movie for him.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So when I came back to India, I noticed the movie was dubbed in Hindi and not available in Dubai. So that's when I felt that no, there is a gap. If the movie is being dubbed, somebody is spending money on dubbing of the movie. Why aren't they releasing these dubbed versions all over? Because Hindi speaking audience are all over the globe. And I started working on the solution and ultimately came up with the solution, Excel Cinema. It's a mobile application which allows users to break language barriers, which allows users to watch their movie in their language. They have the freedom to choose the language that they want to listen that movie in. So they could be seated with others in the same movie hall, watching on the big screen, but listening to their own audio in their earphones using their own smartphone. And once we launched this in 2018, that's when I felt that for visually impaired, I can add the audio description file on the same platform and give them access to the theaters, because in India we don't have the assistive listening devices like how you guys have it in the US. India is dependent on some NGO or some non-for-profit person, individuals to organize these movie shows, and these shows are done in a very small scale. It is not available in every single city or every part of the country. So by adding the audio description track on Excel Cinema, I made the entire Indian cinema industry accessible for the visually impaired. And we had good number of movies on the platform, but then we were all hit by the pandemic COVID-19 and locked in the house. Nobody's going to the movie halls. That again got me thinking that the OTT platforms have what is the content accessibility rate there. And it will be surprising for all of you to know that only 0.05% of Hindi cinema content is audio described, whereas India is known for the world's 50% blind population is reciting in India. But there were not any solutions for the Indian cinema. So hence I decided to come up with an OTT platform called Nobaflix. Noba stands for No Barrier. It's a subscription based platform. Our subscription is in Indian rupees, 69 rupees for 1 month, 199 for 6 months, and 349 for 1 year. Users can even request for sponsorship because there are a lot of Indians who still don't have an active source of income for themselves, and they're still dependent on either some NGO or on their family or friends. But I don't want to exclude them because they can't afford the platform fees. Hence, I have given them a request for sponsorship, and somebody else can pay on behalf of this particular user and give them sponsorship of annual subscription plan. And we add content every week. Every week, 2 to 3 new movies, web series are added on the platform for their entertainment. So the content keeps increasing. Currently, in my library, we have over 300 movies in just a matter of 5 months of launch.
Fantastic, Dipti. Now, talking about audio description and all of that. To be honest with you, I think this is where a lot of shortcoming is observed. I mean, even here in the States, for example, it's not every movie that has that someone has to actively do such a thing. And I'm particularly glad to see that you've taken such an initiative to kind of go after something like this, because not everyone, thinks about us. I always say no one goes to the bed thinking about us and things like that. We're always an afterthought. And so to see you, stepping up to the plate and trying to do something of this is welcome, fresh air, so to speak. And I'm so thankful that you are taking your time to do this thing. And now let's talk, though, about the global availability. This is something that is available not only to India, but also in other countries. And if so, what are some of the hurdles that you may be going through making it available everywhere?
See, like I mentioned, India is home to world's 50% of blind population. So I want to focus first in India, get my user base. At least my challenge to myself is I want at least 1 million users on the platform within the first year of launch. Once I'm able to achieve that, I'll be able to convince my payment gateway companies, the banks, that they can allow me to accept payments from overseas, because as a new entity, it is not allowed for me to accept payments from overseas. It comes under some money laundering clause. Hence, I have closed down the application from the Play Store itself, that if any user who's outside India searches for the platform, they will not be able to log in or they'll not be able to find the platform. But the reason is not that I don't want them. I don't want overseas users. The reasons is mainly because my bank is not allowing me to accept the payments.
And that would lead to a lot of bad ratings, because they'll give you all kinds of low rating because they're not able to get it to access it from their location. So I totally understand. So tell us then, how does one go about? Let's say someone is in India. Would there be a website that they would go to get the APK, or how do they go about accessing the installer for the app?
No, for if somebody is in India, they just have to search for Nobaflix on Play Store, and they can install the application from Play Store itself.
Oh, I see. So it's like one of those like geo-locked apps, for example. So even if I have the URL and I go there, it will tell me something like it's not available in my country,
Correct.
something like that. Good.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I have a question about the functionality of the app itself. So,
Mhm.
the previous service you were describing when you first started talking, it sounded like something you would take along with you to the theater, and you'd play the audio description track while you're listening to the movie in the theater.
Correct.
And I'm wondering, is Novaflix the same thing where it's just the audio track, or does this give you the audio description track and the
No,
movie
so
track?
Nobaflix is like any other OTT. You will get the content with video as well as the audio with audio description. So the only additional feature that you're getting on Novaflix is every single movie, every single episode of any web series, all are with audio description. And the user
Okay,
has the
awesome.
freedom to choose whether they want to listen to only the audio, which means the audio of the movie as well as audio description, or they also want to watch the video. So play audio, play video, both the options are available.
Okay, cool. So you could even play it with the screen off if you wanted to just listen to the
Correct.
audio.
Yes.
Okay, that's great.
I think I like that approach because you know what? If someone has a low internet connectivity, I don't want to watch, turn on the video side of it since I'm not necessarily going to be seeing what it is on the screen, but everything
Mm.
is being described, or I'm hearing the audio from both the movie and audio description. I think it makes it for a good listening pleasure because I then can just turn off the screen and listen to what the movie is all about.
Correct. And
I
there are
like
a
that
lot of
idea.
low vision. There are a lot of low vision people who have a blur vision. It's not that they are 100% blind, but they can see it's maybe a little blur. So they enjoy watching the video content because they want to see the costumes, they want to see the location. Hence, the video option is for such people also who enjoy watching, like who have low vision and they want to watch the video.
So, what is the payment procedure and how much is the payment? Should the person pay directly via Play Store, or is there a different procedure for that?
No, so inside the app itself, okay, so I'll tell you the steps of Nobaflix. So first, the user installs Nobaflix from Play Store. Once they have installed, they finish their mobile verification like any other platform. You create a profile using your profile photo, name, email address, location, and then is the home screen where the list of content is available for the user to know what all movies Nobaflix is offering with audio description. When the user decides which movie they want to play and they try to play the movie, there is a pop-up of a verification screen. Because this platform is restricted to visually impaired only, hence we do the verification for every user. The user has three options. Either they can upload their disability certificate. So the government of India gives out ID cards basically for the people with disability. So their disability certificate can be uploaded in the form of an image or a PDF. The other option is Get Reference. Under Get Reference, I have collaborated with 38 odd organizations who are already working for visually impaired in the country. So these organizations are basically doing their skill development, education, hostels where people with low vision or blindness stay with them, and these organizations are helping me create awareness about the platform, also helping me verify the users. The third option is a verification code, which is given out by the organizations only, our partners, basically Nobaflix partners. Once the verification is completed, then the user has 12 free movies. These 12 free movies they can enjoy, they can play how many ever times they want, and they can get used to the platform because the buttons are new, the procedure, basically it's a brand new platform for them. Let them get the hang of it, and once they start enjoying the platform, they can go and subscribe to our premium content. And the subscription plans are listed, like I mentioned earlier also, and they are listed on the app on our premium content. And these payments can be done inside the platform itself, like on Nobaflix. So there's no external payment mode that they have to use. It is all incorporated inside the platform.
So the 12 free movies is like a title, like a trial, and then you join the premium pack, or
Correct.
is there extra content with the premium pack?
Yeah, so like I said, we have over 300 movies and web series. So out of 300, only 12 are given out to them to experience, because a lot of visually impaired don't even know what audio description is. So let them first learn how movies are made accessible. Let them understand how movies are being audio described and what is it that Nobaflix is offering them.
Dipti, let's talk a little bit about something different, and that has to do with the development. Because so oftentimes we hear developers saying it's hard to develop for Android and all of that. What are some of the challenges that you ran into or that you encountered while developing this app, especially making it accessible to blind people? Because when we talk about apps for the blind or apps being accessible for the blind, that's when all the problem comes in with developers who think that it's hard to develop for screen readers. Were there any challenges that were posed to you during the process of creating this particular app, and how did you solve those problems?
No, I'm surprised who's being saying this to you. Because for any app developer, they know that they have to label the buttons. And that's all a visually impaired needs, that if the buttons are labeled, they can access the platform. Even the screen readers, of course, there are multiple screen readers, but I'm talking about the basic one which is available in every single smartphone. You turn on your accessibility feature and your phone is reading all the apps and basically reading out the labels for you, right? So if we take that little effort, any developer that matter has to take that little effort of labeling their buttons, and it becomes accessible for all.
You know, I couldn't have preached it any better than you have. And frankly, I would love for these developers to hear what you are saying, because that's the problem that we often come across. You know, you want a particular app and it's not accessible, and reach out to them, and oh, you know, we don't have the resources and all of that. As though, you know,
What
just labeling a
resources
button, you know,
required? Oh
makes it
my
so
God.
resource intensive. You know, all we want to do is at least label for me, this button is to play, or
Exactly.
this button is to pause, this button is to skip ahead or rewind, or whatever the case may be. I don't think that we're asking for much, but it's often been an Achilles heel. And you reach out to developers, and sometimes that's what
It's
you hear. And I'm so glad to
whatever,
hear
or
someone like you talking
whoever
about
is
that.
saying this, it's difficult, or they need some expertise in this. Tell them to not give these kind of bullshit reasons and keep their laziness aside. All they have to do is just write down the name, the label, the buttons. That's it. It's not
Thank you.
rocket science.
I love your I love your passion. Now, only if we could have like half people have half of the passion that you have towards accessibility, frankly, there'll be hardly any app that we need that wouldn't be accessible. So I'm so thankful that you are able to talk about these things, and you know, basically reaching out to other developers out there, get off your you know what and do the right thing. I love it.
No, I wish to see inclusivity. That's what I stand for. I want to see inclusivity not just in the entertainment industry, but also in every single sector of the society. The education has to be inclusive. The work space has to be inclusive. It has to be inclusive for all. Only then we as a country, or we as a society, are on a good path, or going on a good developing path.
Amen and amen to that. And this has been absolutely beautiful.
So is there any updates to the app, or is there any like projects or changes in the pipeline that we can expect?
Absolutely. So I've just updated my new version yesterday morning, the Nobaflix version 2. In that, we have made some UI changes. We have made basically we had earlier we had a partner Nobaflix partner application separate. Now we have incorporated the partner features also in the same platform, Nobaflix user app. And the next one, I'm trying and hoping that I can launch the iOS version of Nobaflix, because currently Nobaflix is available only on Android. So that was the first thing I launched the platform for Android, because I wanted the Android users to feel glad and happy that there's something available for them which is not
Thank
available
you.
for the iOS.
Thank you. Thank you. And I would even say, hey, hold off the Fruitvale
That is
iOS
that
one
is
till
that is one
next
reason
2 years.
that is one reason because of which I suggested your name to the podcast. So
Exactly.
Yeah,
what
because
is this
I've
Nobaflix
always
partner
heard
app?
Nobaflix Partner app basically has, it's a very simple app. It's used by all the organizations, like I mentioned, who are working for the visually impaired, so that they can keep a track of the users that they have approved or verified. They can give out verification code through the app, and they can even sponsor visually impaired through the app. So that's basically one pager. It's not a very heavy or nothing major on the app. It's just used for verification. So my plans, like I was mentioning, iOS is what I want to launch as soon as possible now, because it's almost ready. We're just under the testing, trying to test the beta version. And after the iOS is launched, I want to start with the regional language content also. Because Hindi being the big major language in India, there are also more small language pockets, and every single pocket has visually impaired. So I want to make content accessible for them in their own language. So Tamil, Telugu, Punjabi, Marathi, all these small language pockets, they have their own content, and these will be audio described and it will be hosted on Nobaflix. And then we can start with the TV version, and hopefully in this journey, I may open my platform for overseas users also.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Are you planning to bring the app to overseas users?
Like I said, I don't have to do any changes. I just have to do 2 clicks on the App Store, on the Play Store. That is, it has to be available. But the challenge comes, I can make it available, but I can only offer you the 12 free movies. But because visually impaired, they notice, oh, there are so many new movies, there are other content, premium content, I want to buy subscription. But you can't buy subscription because my bank is not allowing me to accept the payments. It's not something that, Nobaflix is holding against the overseas users. I will be, of course, very happy, and, I'll be, even my users will be happier that it's an international platform. But the challenge is coming with the payment gateway.
So here I've got a question. You said it's specific to Indian market, but there are some people doing all the reverse engineering and making the app working in other countries. How are you gonna fight against it, like piracy and stuff?
Piracy, because again, like I see the payment that I'm asking for. Firstly, Nobaflix is a not-for-profit. It comes under No Barrier Foundation. The subscription amount that I'm asking for on the platform is helping us create more content accessible and give back to the society, give back to the same community. So if you're going to steal from your own brothers and sisters, and the way we have our library,
Because
well organized, barely any
yeah,
money.
it's not the first time that is happening. I mean,
Mm,
there are some services or apps for the blind, and we
mm,
steal from our future doing this
mm,
cracking and stuff. So
mm,
that's what I wanted to say.
So let me say this. Now, if
mm,
you are out there listening to us, the whole idea of Novaflex is to benefit blind people. And if anyone does crack this, you're hurting the other blind person out there. So it doesn't make sense. So if you guys out there, uh, please be supportive And you're not even, you guys are not even asking much. And the most important thing is that whatever that you get from this goes back into the society. So this is different. It's not like me, say I have an app that I made, and then, I'm asking you for little payments, which goes to my own pocket for my own use. But your benefits or whatever profits that you get or little amounts you get is something that gets thrown back into helping the blind society. So it just makes sense that no one messes up with this at all in any circumstance.
So if I tell you the cost for making one audio description, one movie audio description, the production houses or Prime Video, I can quote the figures that the Prime, Amazon Prime is charging. It's 6 lakhs plus GST. GST is the taxes in India.
Yeah,
And I
so
have
that's a
over
lot.
300 movies. So, the users or the listeners can now start calculating 6 lakhs into 300 would be a lot of money that I have put in Nobaflix with my own pocket, from my own pocket. And I'm expecting that I should see, I'm not, I'll not be always here, be available, right, to make the audio description. I want the community to support by subscription or sponsor each other, because you guys know the situation of or the life journey of another visually impaired person rather than me as a sighted trying to explain this to you. The
Exactly.
money is going to make more and more audio description, and the platform will be run and sustainable for the community. So it's an entire ecosystem which is providing entertainment to visually impaired. So I'll be equally happy to make my platform international and give access to everyone, because that's the reason why I have made the platform, right? To make your life entertaining. So
Exactly.
it's
Being
nothing
honest,
personal. It's just the rules and regulation that I have to follow as a company if I want to function in India. But what I can
over
request from every single listener of this podcast, and you guys, if you can sponsor the visually impaired on the platform, would be very helpful, because India has a huge number of visually impaired who do not have an active source of income for themselves. They are struggling for their medical care, but there are a lot of companies who are taking care of such things. But when it comes about entertainment, nobody really gives it a thought that even entertainment is a basic right of livelihood of every single human. And for a life of a visually impaired, it is very boring if you don't have any source of entertainment for yourself, which you can independently enjoy. And it's an independent experience. You're not dependent on anybody.
Exactly. And most especially where some of our brethren don't have a way of going out to do things, one could at least have some entertainment in their home. And so to me, that totally makes a whole lot of sense.
I have a question, which is you mentioned ages ago about a profile photo, and I wondered, does everyone have to provide one? Because for me, that might be a barrier.
No, it's not a mandatory. See, on my profile, when anybody is creating their profile on Nobaflix, the name is also not a mandatory field, but it helps us identify the user. Sometimes, if they are sending us feedback messages, it's nice to have their name so that we can address them. That's the only reason. And even the profile photo is an optional thing. Your email address is an optional thing. None of these fields are mandatory for any user.
Oh, it sounds amazing, actually, this platform. And I was wondering also, it's probably a very basic question, but when I'll be, in the UK, we've got quite a lot of stuff that's audio described on Netflix. And I speak English, so I'm very lucky in that there is quite a lot of content. Will the app remember where you got up to? Like if somebody rang me up in the middle of watching a program or something?
Yes.
Or do I have to find it again?
No. The app is intelligent enough to pause as soon as your call will start ringing. The app will give you a security notification in case if you are turning on your camera or any recording app in your phone. Just in case if you're up to fishy activities, you might want to record the content, right? So the app is intelligent enough to know that there's some recording app that is doing an external recording on the platform. So we stop at that. We stop at a call.
Is that because of the microphone
Correct.
coming on. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
So you want to stop that.
Yes.
And what if I close? I mean, obviously, I wouldn't be using it right now because at the moment it's not in the UK. But what if I could use it? And what if I close the app and open it again next week? Will it still remember where I got up to?
Yes. So we have like our content, there's 300 movies and web series are divided by genre. So we have the first section is our recent release, which is every week what all new movies are being released on the platform will be our new releases. Then we have the free section, and then we have continue watching section. So suppose if
Yeah.
you watched a movie 30% and you decided to close it, you came back maybe next day, another day, you watched something new because there was a new content release and you got excited over that. So you can go back because the continue section will have all the content that you have played, and you have not completed at least 90% of that content.
Oh, that's great. So you don't even have to go through all the different movies. You can just find it there straight away. Oh, that sounds really good.
Now, Dipti, let's talk about a couple of things that came across my mind. And the first one has to do with when we have new OS updates, for example, because there's sometimes where an existing app, maybe developers not in tune with what's going on, and then it fails. Like, for example, we're up to Android 14. So what API does Nobaflix support? Does it support Android 14 in the event that someone gets Android 14 and they have it, or would it just be compatible?
No, so we are supporting Android 14 as well. We learned about few new bugs yesterday. Like I mentioned, we had a new update yesterday morning, and a couple of users did have few glitches with Android 14, and we resolved those. They were immediately resolved.
Wonderful. Now, my next question, and probably my last, would be, we are now in the age of wearables and all of that. Is there any plan? I know this is kind of maybe far-fetched, but one of the problems that we have on Wear OS is the fact that one does not have a lot of apps on it. Would you be looking into creating or making it compatible like a Wear OS version, so that most especially if all I'm going to be doing, if I want to just listen to the audio and I have my headset on and I have my watch, Wear OS watch, I could just log on to Nobaflix and enjoy movies while I'm doing dishes in the kitchen or something silly like that?
Sure, we can consider. I never gave it a thought, but that was a good suggestion from you, and I'll definitely consider it. We'll make that happen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Because that's one of the drawbacks on Wear OS, because we don't have a lot of apps on there and it kind of makes it a little bit boring. But when developers consider this, I think it becomes a place to go to. Thank you so much.
Does this app work with Chromecast at the moment?
Not yet.
No. Okay.
But in future, yes. So, like I mentioned, my plan is iOS. In my pipeline, then there's regional content, the multi-language, basically more languages, maybe English language content also. And then will be the option of casting it on TV or the TV version.
Yeah, because they're two different things, aren't they? A TV version where you totally get it on the TV, or just a cut, send to Chromecast. That's a different thing again. And I just wondered if you'd, because I think that'll be quite a good, especially if you're partially sighted. It's a much bigger screen then.
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now, Dipti, tell us how people can reach you. Is there a website they can also go to and things like that? Of course, they can reach you via the app itself, but is there another way people can reach you? For example, should someone want to contact you?
Yeah, so our website is www.nobaflix, spells Nobaflix.com.
Thank you so much. And would you be willing to come back again? I always ask our guests to see if they'll come back again in the event that there's something new or maybe some big updates and all of that, and come back and talk about it. Would I have a little promise from Dipti that we'll reach out to you and then you come back again?
Absolutely. Of course, you have my word. Whenever you reach out, I will definitely come back. I had a blast today. I would
Good.
want to
So
enjoy this again.
at least we're not going to wait till my next birthday before you come back on. So now, though, I think it was a good thing you waited till my birthday. So that's my birthday present. Thank you for coming on to sharing with us, Dipti. We appreciate you coming on talking about Nobaflix today. We are so thankful you
It
came on.
was nice meeting you. I'm glad you came on.
I had pleasure meeting all of you and
Yeah,
want
thanks
to
for
wish
joining
you a
us.
very happy
Appreciate
birthday
it.
once again.
Thank you.
Coming up next, our app of the week, in which we show you how to use the app and review its accessibility. You can submit your recording for this segment. Email it to us at contactus@blindandroidusers.com.
Our app of the week this week, Wherein demonstrates the app Radio G. It's a great radio app, it's pretty accessible, and let's go deep dive into details.
Hi, Warren here for Blind Android Users Podcast, and for episode 154 App of the Week, this is demonstrating an app called Radio G. That's RADIO space letter G as in go. Now, I'm particularly interested in this app because it allows the ability to record, and that's one of the perks for me when I'm looking for a radio app. Now, another beauty about this also is the fact that you could add your own radio stations, or you could suggest radio stations that could be added. Before showing you around on the app, I would like to mention here in passing that most of the buttons are not labeled, and thus TalkBack is doing the heavy lifting. And however, the good news is that these buttons so far that I've found that are not labeled and TalkBack doing the labeling, you can actually manually label those things to say exactly what you want them to say. And now let's get to demonstrating the app. I am on my home screen and will navigate my way to the app icon, and let's get started.
Radio G.
Here is Radio G, and I'll tap to activate.
Radio G. Allow Radio G to send you notifications. Allow button out of pager.
The first thing we heard is as to whether or not we would like Radio G to send us notifications or not. Now, I'm notorious for not letting apps sending me notifications, and you can choose to allow it to send you notifications. For this demonstration, though, I'm going to tap on I don't want you to send me any notifications.
Don't allow button.
Therefore, I'm tapping on Don't Allow.
Radio G. Stations.
There we are. We are now in the main UI of the app. And the first thing we heard is radio stations. Now, I would like to mention here in passing that at the bottom, we encounter 4 tabs. Starting from the bottom left, the first tab we encounter is stations, and I think that's the one that's highlighted by default. Here's what I'm talking about, starting from the bottom left and going toward the right.
Stations, tab, selected, 1 of 4, in list, 4 items.
We are told the Stations tab is selected, 1 of 4. Moving to the right.
Favorites, tab, 2 of 4.
The next tab we come across is the favorites. That is, if you favorite any station, it will be right here in the favorites tab. Next to the right of that.
History, tab, 3 of 4.
History, and that will have to do with the history of the stations that you've listened to. You will find them here in the History tab when it is activated. The last tab on the right here, however, will be
Settings, tab, 4 of 4.
Settings, and that's the last one here. Now, let's go ahead, though, and see if there are any other things on the top. I'll be starting from the top left and then going right.
Stations, out of list.
I put my finger near the top left corner, and it simply says Stations out of list. Moving my finger to the right, and if you're a swiper, just swipe.
Add free version, button.
It says Add free version. That is, if I wanted it to be ad-free, that is, I want to remove ads. By default, this is the free version, and so it is ad supported. However, if you want to remove the ads, you can choose to get the ad-free version. We'll take a look and see as to how much it costs to remove those ads. Next button, going right.
Sleep mode button.
We come across a sleep mode. So, for example, if you're listening to a radio station at nighttime and you are not sure if you're going to be falling asleep or something to that effect, you could choose to say, hey, in an hour, turn it off or whatever. Next, the last button on the top right will be
Search button.
Will be the search, and that explains what it is. You could tap here and search for a particular genre or particular radio station or particular country, whatever, and get to what you're looking for. Let's go ahead, though, and tap on that ad-free to see how much it would cost in the event that you would like to remove ads. I'll now find and tap on ad-free version.
Ad-free version button.
I'll tap.
Google Play Store. Progress bar. Google Play.
Tapping on that ad-free takes us to the Play Store so we can buy the app. I'll put my finger. Usually the pop-up is found toward the bottom, or you could start from the middle and just explore downward.
Ad-free app version.
There we go, in the middle toward the bottom half of the phone, we are told ad-free version, and I'm moving down.
Radio G online radio and recorder.
I'm moving down.
99 cents.
So it's 99 cents, basically just $1 if you want to get it. However, I will suggest that you play with the free version to be sure this is something that you actually really like before spending your dollar on it. And I'll now go back to the main UI.
Radio G, ad-free version, button.
Takes me back to that ad-free version button. Now, the next item I want to look at is the last item on the right, and that's the last tab, and that's the settings. Let's go ahead and tap on Settings.
Settings, tab, 4 of 4, in list, 4 items.
Here is Settings, and I'll tap to activate.
Settings, selected.
I am now in the settings. Let's take some time now and go through the settings, see what items we have here, if things we could turn on or things we could turn off.
Dark theme, switch, off, out of list.
So we're told that dark theme is switched off. If you want to turn it into the dark theme mode instead of the light theme, you tap on this one to activate it. And it seems like this is not behind a paywall. I'm going to tap here to activate dark mode.
On.
All right, now moving down.
Autoplay last radio station on start, switch, off.
The next item we come across is to autoplay the station that you are listening to when you start the app, and it's totally up to you. By default, though, this is off. Next, let's move on down.
Auto pause when headset is unplugged, switch, on.
That one is on by default in the event that you are using a headset, and when you unplug the headset, it will pause the station. Next.
Keep screen on, switch, off.
Keep screen on, and that by default is switched off. I'm not turning it on. Next.
Show records in bottom menu, switch, off.
We come across an interesting feature here, says show records at the bottom. So by default, this is turned off. Now, if I tap on this, my guess is that it's going to place a tab at the bottom of the phone alongside with the other 4 tabs as records or something to that effect. I'll go ahead and turn this on, and we'll see if I'm correct in my thinking that this is going to be a tab added to the bottom tabs. So I'll tap here to activate that it should place records at the bottom of the phone.
Allow Radio G to send you notifications. Allow, button.
Tapping on that is asking me whether or not I should allow it to send me notifications. And again, I'm going to say no. I don't know if that's going to deactivate that adding that tab to the bottom row or not.
Don't allow, button.
But I'll tap on do not allow anyhow.
Radio G, settings.
All right, let's see if that thing is turned on.
Show records in bottom menu, switch, on.
There we go. It is still turned on. And next.
Create a new recording file for each song, switch, off.
And you could choose to create a new recording for each file in the event. That may be something different that you're recording. Maybe I'm recording a show and it's a new show or whatever. I could create a new file for that. It's totally up to you. At least we have that customization and you can choose as to how you want to proceed with this. Next.
Save recordings to the system music folder, switch off.
And here we find it saying that whether we should save the recordings to the music system folder. In other words, it seems like it will be saving your recordings in the apps directory. That's how I understand it. So you could choose here and then choose where you want to save your recordings to. In other words, if you turn this on, then you'll be choosing for a different folder on your system that you would like to save your recordings to. Next.
The entries are saved inside the app and will be deleted when you uninstall it.
That explains it. So it confirms what I was thinking. It'll be saving within the app itself. And should you remove the app, all those recordings also will be deleted. So if you feel that you're going to be saving your files for some later listening in the event that you uninstall the app or anything like that, you're probably better off checking that checkbox or turning on that switch above and simply choose a different folder that you would like it to save your recordings to, maybe like in your music folder or creating a folder within your music folder called Radio G and just storing those things in there. Next.
Country, United States.
And here we're told country, United States by default. Of course, if this is not your country, you want to make another country to be your default, I suppose you could tab here and go choose that country to be the one that it starts up on. Next.
Language, English.
We come across language selection. And of course, if you tab here, I'm sure you'll be able to choose the language that you would like to use for the interface of the app. Next.
Records.
Records. So I'm thinking that if you tab here, you'll be seeing all that you've recorded so far. So it will be like if I have recorded something and I want to see what I've recorded, then I'll tab here to see the items that I've recorded. Next.
Alarms.
Next, we come across alarms. So if you want to choose a radio station to be an alarm for you, this is where you're going to find that. Let's move on to the next item, and we come across
Statistics.
Statistics, and that's the one that you could tap on to see the stats and all of that. I'm not interested in stats, so let's move on.
Equalizer.
We come across equalizer, how you want it to sound like. You can boost up some of the mids and highs, and all of that is totally up to you. Next.
Add radio station.
We come across add radio station. So for example, if you're interested in a particular radio station and it's not found on here on the app, as long as you know the URL to that particular radio station, you could add it here. You tap here and follow the instructions and add the desired radio station that you would like to add. Next.
Share app.
We come across share app. You could tap here to share the app. Next.
Leave feedback.
We come across leave feedback. In other words, you could go in here and report any problems that you have found. Next.
Privacy policy.
We come across the privacy policy, and that indeed seems to be the last item. Because if I move my finger down,
History, tab, 3 of 5.
My
list,
finger lands
5
me
items.
on the tab. So I'm going to tap back on the stations. That's the item on the bottom left.
Stations, tab, 1 of 5.
Let's go ahead and tap.
Radio G. Stations, tab, selected, 1 of 5, in list, 5 items.
There we go on the stations tab. Now, because of copyright issues and things like that, I will not be allowing the sound to go through in the demonstration. For example, if I want to find a station here and then show you how it plays, and let's see if we could find where to record and all of that. So I'm going to be muting that, so you're not going to be hearing it play in this demonstration. Let's put our finger down and see what we find, starting from the top.
Local, tab, selected, 1 of 5.
That's the first tab on the top left, and we have local, and that by default is selected. And so these are like the genres. So if I move my finger to the right,
Global, tab, 2 of 5.
there's global. That means you're looking across the world. Next tab,
Genres, tab, 3 of 5.
we come across genres. So if you're into music, maybe you want oldies or country or rock or hip hop or pop or whatever it is, you tap here and choose the category that you would like to listen to music from. Next, moving right,
Countries, tab, 4 of 5.
we come across countries. So if you tap here, you could choose the different countries that you want to listen to radio stations from. And the last tab on the right will be
Languages, tab, 5 of 5.
languages. You go in here and choose the language that you want to use for the UI of this particular app. I'll move my finger down though and see what some of the stations that we come across.
Radio Paradise, 320K, 156,799. English, California, eclectic, free, internet, non-commercial, Paradise, radio, in list.
Wow. And so you see an example. So I'm going to tap on this one just for giggles. So when I tapped on it, it started playing. And of course, I'm cutting this out.
Radio Paradise, 320K, Trentemüller, Candy Tongue, out of list.
So when you tap on a radio station, for example, toward the bottom, just above those tabs, like the favorites and all of that, you see the name of the radio station and what is playing. And then to the right of it,
BTN Copy Station, button.
There's a copy station, and to the right,
Detected. Icon, play, button.
Then there's a play button, and that would be the last button there. Now, I want to mention here in passing that if you tap on the name of the station, which is found there toward the bottom above the tabs, it will take us to a full page where it gives us more information and more controls. So now I'll tap on the name of the station, in this case, Radio Paradise.
Radio Paradise, 320K, Trentemüller, Candy Tongue.
And now I'll tap on Radio Paradise.
Radio G, navigate up, button.
So we're told navigate up. That's the top button on the top left there is highlighted. And moving to the right,
Add alarm, button.
there's add alarm if you want to make this to be your alarm station. And one more button to the top right
Share, button.
is the share button. Now moving our way down toward the bottom of the phone.
Detected. Text, WAM radio. Com, button.
And we have a button here that says what it said.
IV country icon, button.
And it says country icon. So that's the country it's playing from. Of course, I'm on the US by default, moving my finger down.
Radio Paradise, 320K.
And it tells us it's playing at 320 kbps.
320 kilobits per second, English.
All right, moving down.
Trentemüller, Candy Tongue.
It says the name of whatever the music is. Moving down.
BTN Copy Station, button.
We come across that copy station, and to the right of
Detected. Text, 1 Estral. Oldie. 1 ounce, slider, 53%.
And what I noticed with the slider is that it's not that you're going to be changing. If you increase the slider, you're going to be changing or moving the song to another song or anything like that. However, the slider seems to be controlling the volume. So if you don't want to use your volume keys on your phone, you could use this to adjust the volume. I'm not playing this because I know it's going to be getting in the recording, and Google is very particular about striking down for copyright material. Next, moving down.
Detected. Icon, play, button.
We got play. And of course, we're not seeing the record button because it's not playing. And if it's not playing, you're not going to find a record button. But to the right of that,
Detected. Icon, star, text, John, button.
the star. To the right,
Detected. Icon, like, button.
and you can like the station. I'm going to tap on the play, and then I will show you the record button.
Detected. icon, play, button.
And as you hear, it says detected, meaning that TalkBack is doing the heavy lifting. So for example, if I want to change this label and just call it play or whatever, so it's not saying detected, you could just invoke the TalkBack menu. And for example, if I just tap with 3 fingers.
TalkBack menu. Add label, in list.
And there's add label there. I could tap there to go add label to it.
Radio G. BTN play pause, button, out of list.
Now I'm going to tap there. So I want to mention here in passing that as soon as I tap on the play, then to the left of the play button is the record, or it'll say microphone. And you could change that by activating the TalkBack menu on it and choosing the label and give it the label of record/pause or record/stop or whatever you want to call it. But once it's not playing, that button is not showing. And I can't show you that because I don't want that copyrighted thing getting in the way. So that's how it works, though. You kind of have an idea of how it works. Go ahead and give it a spin. And if you find it to be something you would like to keep, then you could buy it for 99 cents. And that's Radio G.
Well, thank you so much, Warren. When I heard that you're going to demonstrate the app, I also installed it, and I saw, wow, there are a lot of radio stations from Turkey. I was amazed. Wow, it's amazing, though.
Now I think I'm going to try to listen to some. Now I think I'm going to try to listen to some Turkish station. Then, now that you've talked about it, what I like about these online radio stations is that one is able to listen to radio stations from different parts of the world, and I think that's a beautiful thing. So I'll be listening to maybe some radio station out of Samsung City.
And
That
remembering
would be nice.
Turkey next Thursday is Thanksgiving in USA.
Yeah,
Turkey.
good.
Yeah, so I'm going to
Yeah.
be eating you up, Sally.
Good. Nice.
Oh boy.
Coming up next is the tip of the week. Stay tuned for tips, tricks, and more about Android.
And now let's move to the tip of the week. Well, as far as I know, this week Warren was so excited while he was recording because it contains some sort of revenge. So let's give it to Warren, and it's the tip of the week about the custom notifications in Telegram.
Hi. For episode 154 tip of the week, this is demonstrating how to use a customized notification sound for a given contact within your Telegram. A little over 10 months ago, John demonstrated how to block someone on Telegram, and he used me as his guinea pig. And I've been holding that grudge against John now for quite a spell. And so today I'll be demonstrating how to add a customized notification for a given individual, and I'm calling this one Knuckleheaded John. The first thing you want to do is to be sure that you have opened up a conversation between you and the person that you would like to assign a customized notification for. I have opened up a conversation between John and I, and now what we need to do as a second step is to tap on More Options found near the top right. I'll now tap on More Options.
More options, button.
Here is More Options. Tap.
Pop-up window. Mute.
The first thing we heard is mute. We're not muting John, although I could decide to do that, but that's not the crux of the matter. What I want to do is assign him that Knuckleheaded John notification sound. So we tap here on mute.
Back.
We are now on a button that says back, and that's found near the top left corner. Now, if you're someone who likes swiping, you need to swipe 3 times to get to where it says custom or customize. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if you're swiping, just go ahead and swipe.
Disable sound.
You swipe again.
Mute for.
We hear mute for. So if you tap here, you could choose, hey, mute John for X amount of hours, or permanently mute John. But that's not what we're after. We're after the customize. So here's what we're looking for.
Customize.
Customize. We tap. And what we're looking for on this page is an item that's nestled between vibrate and stories. And what we're looking for here is an item called sound. I'll now put my finger down and tap on sound.
Sound.
Here is sound. We tap.
John Dyer, notification sound, out of list.
We're now on a page that says John Dyer notification sound. And here are several radio buttons that you could choose from. But however, we have created our own, and I created mine. I just called it Knuckleheaded John. I recorded it actually, and I placed it in my notification sound or my notification folder, but it's not going to be seen among the radio buttons here that we can see on
Radio
this page.
button, banjo, not checked.
So what we want to do is tap on upload sound, and that's found near the top across the screen, or about an inch from the very top. We'll find that upload sound.
Upload sound, 3 of 64.
Upload sound, that's what we're after. We go ahead and tap.
Telegram, internal storage, browse your file system, in list, 3 items. Attach media.
Here we are told we could browse our system, and or below that you could also go to the Telegram folder if you have saved a sound there in the Telegram folder.
Telegram, browse the apps folder.
But mine is not there, so I'm going to tap on the one that says browse my system.
Internal storage, browse your file system.
There we go. So I tap.
Recent, show routes, button, out of list.
And here you could tap on show routes, but by default it places you in the recents. And of course, my file that I'm after is sitting here in the recent. And I'm going to put my finger down.
Knuckleheaded John.mp3, 2:13 p.m., 62.49 kilobytes, MP3 audio.
There's a Knuckle John headed file. What you want to do is long press it.
1 selected.
We're told that 1 is selected, basically 1 file selected. And now near the top right, you're going to find something that says select.
Select, button.
There we go. There's a select. We tap.
Telegram, internal storage, browse your file system, in list, 3 items.
And we're back to where we could browse our system again. And this time though, I'm going to go back.
John Dyer, upload sound, 3 of 64, in list, 64 items.
And now we need to scroll down and find
radio
the one
button,
that says
alpha, not checked, 11
Knuckleheaded
of
John.
Radio button, glitter, not checked.
We got a glitter.
Radio button, prism, not checked.
Oh, I went too far. Let's scroll back up.
Radio button, masterpiece, not checked.
Let's scroll back up.
Radio button, guitar, not checked.
Too far
Radio
up.
button, Knuckleheaded John, not checked.
Here is Knuckleheaded John. And all I need to do now is simply tap on that to make it my notification for when I get messages from John. I'll tap here. Knuckleheaded John. There we go. You heard Knuckleheaded John. And that's it. We've got John set to Knuckleheaded John. And that's how you go about assigning a customized notification to a given contact from within your Telegram. Thank you, Karen, for introducing me there. Well, I was kind of a little bit vengeful with John. You guys remember John blocked me from Telegram, so I was just kind of giving it back to him a little bit. That's all.
Oh, that reminds me. I need to unblock you.
Okay, you two, fight nice. Don't be fighting like you're married.
You could be nice.
Oh boy, yeah. I think John and I are being nice to each other.
This is Warren's Most Liked segment, in which you can share how you got started with Android, the problems you had along the way, and much more. If you don't know what to say, we'll help you along the way.
All right, and for our next segment, Warren's favorite segment, we're going to have Android Journey, and Joshua is joining us this week. So I'll hand it over to you, Warren.
Thank you so much. Of course, I'm always excited like a kid in a candy store during Christmas or whatever. And here we are, looking forward to talking with Joshua. Joshua, we're so excited you joined us today to talk about the Android Journey story. You can see that I'm all perked up because this is my favorite segment. Boy, you're going to take us down memory lane, talk about the times you felt like throwing Android out or whatever. I know you still have a little bit of a Fruitvale out there, but then tell us about your Android journey story, Joshua, when you got started and all of that. And thank you for agreeing to come on and talk about it because these journeys help people elsewhere. Take us through, Joshua.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So, gosh, my Android journey started in, I guess, at the end of 2021. I got a Samsung S20, and I switched from iPhone to Samsung, and yeah, I liked it.
What was it that led you to trying Android? Because, sometimes a lot of people, especially in our blind community, you have the iPhone, the Fruitvale phone, and, we believe that's all you need. Were you just curious or you just wanted to try something new? Or was it someone told you about Android and then you said, hey, I'm going to try that thing and see what it is? Or what was it that actually made you try that Galaxy S20?
So back in the summer of 2020, back when, we were all locked down pretty
Lockdown.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on YouTube and I was just curious. So I looked up, and I think I looked up whatever the latest Pixel phone was at the time, and I just put accessibility after it, and a video came up showing all the accessibility features on the phone. And then eventually I found out about blind Android users on the podcast.
Joshua, I've got a question.
Yeah.
Is the curiosity killed the cat, or are you happy now?
Yes, curiosity killed the cat, I guess.
So is this S20 been your only Android phone that you've ever used? Have you ever toyed around with any others prior to getting this or since? Have you ever tried a Pixel or anything like that?
One of my uncles had a S20 Ultra, and it was on Android 10, so this was back when you had voice assistant, and I asked him to go into the accessibility settings and turn on voice assistant, and he actually did it, and then I was kind of played around just a little bit with it. I didn't do a whole lot, but just kind of to get the idea of what it was like. Then when at the end of 2021, when my family was all getting new phones, I had to try and convince my mom that Android was accessible. So I told her about TalkBack and stuff, and then she got me her phone, which is this S20, and yeah.
So are you in an iPhone family where was your whole family getting new iPhones and you were like, yeah, I'm not going to do that?
Now my sister is an iPhone user, my mom's a Samsung user, I'm a Samsung user now, and yeah.
Okay. My entire family are iPhone users, like my parents, my wife's parents, everybody. So I'm the odd man out
Well,
around here.
I'm happy to say that my whole family is using Android.
That's like mine. Here in the States, a lot of people use the Fruitvale. My family's the exception, and I'm so proud of it. None of us use that stuff.
Actually, I take back. My son, because he doesn't have a choice, uses a Samsung tablet. So I got him invested early.
No,
Of
got
course.
it. That's my
Who knows
man.
Who knows what he's going to start asking for when he gets older?
Exactly. Yeah.
But
So get
for
him used to
now,
this,
at
John.
least,
He won't look
yeah.
back. Nice strategy, my man. Catch him young. Catch him young. That's it.
He'll probably ask you for like your Z Fold 5 or something.
Yeah, no kidding.
So, Joshua, I'm glad you're enjoying your Android journey story because you're one of those that's active on our Telegram group, and you solve problems there, answering questions and things like that. So that tells me that you have actually gotten yourself very used to the Android way of doing things, and we're so thankful to have you on there, and most especially coming on here to talk about your Android journey story. And, from time to time, we like people to come back on. And so if we want you to come back on, just come in as a guest, listener, guest, speaker, something like that. Would you be willing to come back again, Joshua?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, good. Good.
Okay.
Well,
I have one last question for you, Josh.
Yes.
Confused screen reader or talkback?
oh,
Both.
no. Oh,
Both.
no. No,
Both.
don't. Thank you, boy.
Both. I use TalkBack primarily, but I use CSR sometimes. So the way I have my shortcuts set up is I have the press, volume, and power for TalkBack, and then the hold both volume keys for CSR. So I use both whenever.
That's how I have my shortcuts also.
Yeah,
So,
but CSR is awesome.
Joshua, which is better and more responsive?
I knew the Lebanese Bell was
yeah.
going to throw this in there. And that's
Uh,
why I didn't want the CSR thing brought in the first place. But Joshua, be gracious, just tell her the truth.
So CSR is more responsive, and you got all your different sound themes and all your extensions and tools and all that stuff that I really
Please tell me you
like.
don't use the voiceover sound theme.
What?
You use the voiceover sound themes,
Do you
Joshua?
use the
No.
voiceover sound theme? Okay,
No,
good.
I don't.
Because
Themes are
that
mine.
will actually,
I use the theme.
make me run
It's
away from
a
you.
old voice assistant theme, or that's what the theme name is anyway. I don't know how true that is, but the theme name is, I think it's like voice assistant original or something, and yeah, that's the one that I like. But I have a whole bunch of sound themes installed that I can switch to it whenever I want. And all the auto click functions and stuff and regular functions. I've created a bunch of auto click functions for different things. And yeah, CSR is awesome.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on to talk about this Android journey story. And if you're listening to Joshua out there and you haven't had the opportunity to come on and talk about your Android journey story, we do encourage you to come on and talk about it. As you can see, Joshua, we're friendly here, right? We didn't put you off, did
Yeah,
we?
y'all are.
Yeah, we have
It's
some
all
fun.
awesome here. So yeah, if you wanna
Yeah.
come on, tell your Android journey, and
There's one
everyone
thing I
here
want
is
to
so
say,
nice. And yeah,
Joshua. Also, thank you so much for sending us your favorite apps to Accessible Android. You're doing it regularly, and really appreciate it.
Nice.
And also, Joshua has done a demo of an app for us, and I just want to remind the listeners, we love getting app submissions from you to demo apps. We'll either include it in an episode if we approve of it, or save it for our next app bonanza.
All good things must end. Thus, it's curtain drawing time, bringing us to the close of this week's episode. Coming up, though, we give you information on how to get hold of us. And with that, we come to the end of this week's episode. Again, thank you so much, guys, for listening. And up next, Austin is going to tell you information on how to get hold of us. Austin?
To contact us, you can send an email to contactus@blindandroidusers.com. You can join our mailing list by sending an email to Blind Android Users Plus subscribe at groups.io. You can join our Telegram, Facebook, Discord, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The links for everything will be at the bottom of the show notes and also in the video description of the YouTube channel. And also the links are in the websites panel of the YouTube channels.
And that's it from me, guys. It's bye, and we look forward to seeing you next week. Would that be after the Thanksgiving?
Yep. Have a happy Thanksgiving, everyone who celebrates.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Those of you that celebrate Thanksgiving here in the US.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Blind Android Users Podcast. Until we see you next week, don't forget to leave us your comments and suggestions via our email contact or using any of our social media sites. Have a great week.